You're about to learn how to dramatically improve your reaction time during doubles, get to more balls, win more points, win more matches. We're going to do a case study here between two different players. This player here I've worked with multiple times in the past. This player here I have not. And we're going to look at their different methods of where they're watching, what they're looking at, how they're reacting, how they're responding. We're going to do a kind of scientific comparison here of the reaction times and show you what you can do to get much faster during doubles play. By the way, hopefully this goes without saying, but I'm never pointing out somebody's flaws to make fun of them or shame them or anything like that. I've looked at plenty of my own flaws, so I'm kind of right there with everybody. But what I want you to watch here is this player in blue. Watch her response to the ball. As this serve goes in play, watch how her entire body turns. It's not just her head, but like her hips, her shoulders. And what is she doing? Well, initially, we could probably make a case for her watching for the line call and trying to make a judgment call about is the serve in or not. Totally get that. But then after the ball lands in the box, what is this doing for her as she turns around and looks? And more importantly, what is it at the sacrifice of? What is it that she's giving up by turning back and looking at her partner? Well, I've had this argument so many times with doubles players in camps and clinics. People tell me, well, I need to see what my partner is going to do. And I need to see, like, are they in balance or are they not in balance? And I need to see what position are they in. Are they running to the left or to the right or forwards or backwards? Like, I need to know what my partner is doing. So here, and I get that. I hear that. But over time, especially if you're familiar with the player, but even if you're not, after a couple games, you're going to have a good sense for who they are, what their style is like, if they like to stay back, if they like to come in. And also, you need to practice watching the ball, tracking it, instead of turning back to look physically so that she has a confirmation of where the ball is. How about get good at looking at something more important, which we'll get to in a second, and just kind of develop a radar of when the ball goes behind me, what was the angle? What was the trajectory? So where is my partner? You can start to piece these things together, and you can start to build kind of a little map in your head of, okay, the ball went in this direction at this angle at this speed. We can safely assume our partner is going to try to get it, so they're probably going to be moving with the ball in whatever direction the ball was moving. You can start to piece together kind of a radar screen in your head of where the ball is going and therefore where your partner is going. And so what that would do, if we had that, is it removes the need to be able to have to turn and stare like this. And this is at the expense of what? This is at the expense of knowing what's happening here. And so here's the question you want to ask yourself. Am I more concerned with what's happening now, or am I more concerned with what's happening next? Which is better? Elite doubles players are constantly thinking about what's next, what's next, what's next, so that they can be one step ahead or two steps ahead or three steps ahead of the action, anticipate, and put themselves in the middle of the pattern, put themselves in the middle of the action. You cannot do that by definition if you're being reactionary. You can only put yourself in the middle of the action if you're being proactive. And this is like just a picture-perfect case study of what reactionary looks like. Because she's looking back at her partner, she is not looking at this player. And so watch how much this player does before she even sees her. So the ball goes in the box. Watch the eyes of the player in blue. They're already turning back. So she's missing already this move here. There's one shuffle. There's two shuffles. Now the return is getting hit. Here's three shuffles. And where's she looking? She's looking at the ball. And so the best she can do here is just be synced up and linked in with the moment, like the present. It's impossible to make any kind of judgment call about the future when you're locked into the present and you're just staring at, oh, there's the ball, there it goes. It's going this way, now it's going that way. And if you're just fascinated by, tracking the ball, you cannot be looking at what's down the road. You can't be anticipatory as long as you're locked into the present. So let's go back to this player here. We've got an opponent going across and intercepting the ball, and look at how this player in blue, look at how her whole body and her head is tracking with the ball. And so she's by definition, not going to be able to respond to this shot until after it gets hit. So here's the hit. It takes the human eyes and brain about a third of a second to process directional data. What's the trajectory of the ball, the speed of the ball, so on and so forth. Watch this. When does that player in blue actually make a move? There it is. You see her left foot starting to pick up and turn and pivot. Oh, look at that. It's about a third of a second. And so the best this player can do, by definition, is be reactionary. When you track the ball, the best you can do is just react. And if you are reacting and your opponents are being proactive, then you're just fighting uphill. Such a tough frickin' battle. If you're constantly watching the ball and reacting, and they're constantly looking ahead and doing something ahead of time, the odds of winning that match are so low because you're just fighting uphill, an uphill battle the entire time. Okay, so to be very clear, this is super normal, all right? Please don't get up on your high horse right now and be condescending about this player, because there's a strong statistical likelihood if you're, let's see, if you're below a 4-5 level, 4-0, it's probably 50-50. If you're below a 4-0 level, there's a very high likelihood that you are doing exactly what this player is doing. It's probably 70-80% likelihood if you're below 4-0 level. AKA, if you're an average tennis player, that this is normal, okay? This is what most tennis players do. All right, now we're going to go ahead to the next point here. And I want to show you this player in orange. And this first serve actually goes out. But I want you to look at how different, and by the way, I've worked with both of these two players before. Look at how locked in these two players, look at how athletic they look and how prepared they look. They just look like athletes. This player in the blue, as this serve goes in the box and she goes back and watches her partner, does it particularly look like she's being athletic right now? Does it look like she's playing a sport, or does it look like she's watching a sport? Me personally, it looks more like she's watching a sport, and she's waiting to be invited and involved, and then she's reacting. And so the contrast between that and this is huge. And I want you to watch the player in orange as this serve, watch, he still makes the call. Watch his head turn, and he sees the ball land out, calls out, but then watch his head and watch his feet. See how he's preemptively lifting and he's getting ready in the event that his partner has just let the ball go by. In the event that she swings and hits the ball and plays it for whatever reason, he is in the habit of doing two things. A, visually locking in to this player to see what she's going to do, and B, physically, preemptively, proactively activating his body. How different of a feel is this compared to the other person? Okay, so that serve was out. Now this one's going to be in. Look at, again, how he's locked in. Now this second serve goes in play. He just knows he doesn't really have to turn to look at the ball. Instead, what is he concerned with? What is he locked into? His eyes are completely locked into this player. All of his attention, all of his focus is locked into that player, so that as this ball gets hit, he's lifting, activating his body. And watch this. The same thing happens, okay? This player got involved both points. But watch the reaction time here. When does this player in orange start to move towards where the ball is going? There's the hit. Look, he's already moving. So the hit's happening right there. And if we put up the stopwatch, look, he's already moving. He's essentially removed the reaction time, and he's already moving and getting his body going in the right direction as the ball gets hit instead of waiting to read where the ball is going. So we've essentially removed reaction time. And so what is that called? If he's not waiting for the ball to get hit and instead he's just automatically moving in the right direction, that's called anticipating. You can only anticipate when you're looking ahead to the next thing. As long as your focus is on the present thing, by definition, the best you can do is react. If you're constantly looking ahead to the next thing and you're not concerning yourself with the present thing, you can look to the future and be proactive. This is what great tennis players do, not just doubles players, but singles players too. But it's especially important in doubles when there's so much more action and so many more variables at play that if you're locked into the ball, it's hard, man. It's hard enough. Tennis is hard enough without being reactionary, and it's your choice. You have to train this like discipline of like what's next and locking into it. And there's a lot to that. I don't have time to unpack today. There's a lot to just the physical like preparation as well that I don't have time to get into today, but I've got lots of lessons on the split step and preparation and stuff like that. Hopefully this was helpful just to see this example. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time.